Good morning and welcome to Missoula Real Estate Today. This is Peter Christian. I'm here with the host of the show, Diane Beck, with Windermere Real Estate. Diane has been helping buyers and sellers with real estate in the Missoula area for over 20 years and is very active in the Missoula community. Along with her trusted partners, Diane provides complete service for your real estate transaction. And now, Missoula Real Estate Today on NewsTalkKGVO.com, 98.3 FM and 1290 AM. Hey, welcome everybody. It is Missoula Real Estate Today. I'm Peter Christian, and we always have great guests. Diane Beck is going to be with us next week, but this week we got a brand new guest. I've never met John before, John Contos with John's Carpet Care. Welcome, sir. How are you?
Oh, doing well, thanks.
So what I like to do, because we're going to be here for half an hour just chatting, so I like to find out some stuff about the folks that are sitting across from me. So tell me about John Contos. Are you a native guy? Have you been here for a long time, or what?
No, my wife and I moved up here from the Boulder, Colorado area back in 1994 to help start a church. We had never been to Montana before, didn't know anything about it. Certainly didn't know anything about Missoula. And once we got here, wow, we were very impressed.
Okay, so what was it specifically that captured your heart about Missoula, about our town?
Oh, my gosh, the people, for one, incredibly friendly. You can talk to anybody.
Yeah.
And, the area is similar. I mean, Colorado's got the mountains, and we've got mountains up here, but they still have trees on them. There's not a lot of houses. So the wide openness was very, very nice. Very relaxing up here.
Yeah, they do call it the mountain tax here.
Yes.
They're what they call the pine cone tax.
Yeah, we got that one.
Yeah, and so it isn't quite the bustling suburbia that, Colorado Springs or Boulder or Denver,
right.
Obviously.
Yeah.
So, but you come to Missoula and you just kind of fell in love and.
We did. My wife is a teacher. She teaches first grade at Chief Charlo, so she was able to get into a brand new school when that was built.
Right.
And we only lived 2 blocks away. And I started my carpet cleaning business back in Colorado, but starting up here was a little bit challenging.
Why was that?
People know each other up here.
Right. There's a network. Right?
There is, and you either need to be related or plugged in for a long time.
or prove yourself.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And fortunately, Vicki Amundsen, who owns Clark Fork Realty, saw one of my flyers, saw the work I had done, really liked it, started using me, and it kind of went from there.
All right. So basically, and I think anybody who's ever been in business, especially a sole proprietor like yourself, you got to win your chops, right?
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
And that's why you always have to put your best foot forward with every new job.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
And I think people see that too, and I knew that coming in. Plus, I have my own standards anyway. Do a great job, and the prices are extremely reasonable. Mm-hmm. And I think when people see that and compare it to others, once they get over that, but he's a cousin, he's a relative, then they kind of loosen up a little bit.
Well, when it comes right down to it, quality is the main factor. I mean, if you do a good job, maybe you can charge a little bit more, and people will still say, you know what, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm getting to that point right now where my prices are going up a little bit. And still, when you compare them to everyone else's, I'm still a little bit below.
Sure.
Yeah.
So now there are lots of different carpet cleaning systems out there. I mean, there's dry, there's wet, there's I don't even know, to be honest with you. So tell me about your system and what do you do?
Well, there are a couple of systems. One is the dry, which is it's got its applications. Typically, those things dry within an hour or two. But that's a surface clean. I use a hot water extraction, commonly referred to as steam cleaning, which does a deep down cleaning, and also which carpet manufacturers want you to use in order to keep up your warranty.
Huh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So why is that? I mean, why the deep down clean as opposed to the surface clean to keep the warranty?
Well, I think with the surface cleaning, that's exactly what you're doing. You're just doing the surface cleaning. And you can have a great vacuum, and that really does play a big part because you are getting a lot of that sand and stuff that grinds up the carpet and eventually wears it out. with the deep down cleaning, the type that I use, you're not only getting the fine sand out and stuff like that, but also odors. Carpet's like a sponge. It just
don't lay down on the carpet with the kids. Yeah,
you gotta do your vacuuming and your maintenance on it too.
Yeah.
So usually I tell people, clean it once every 12 months to 18. And I think a lot of carpet manufacturers recommend that too to keep up the warranty within 18 months.
Okay.
So yeah, the deep down cleaning does a great job.
So now when you come to the house, what's the procedure? Do you want to move all? Do you want us to move all the furniture out, or what's the best way?
That's really a good question. Primarily, most of the carpet cleaning I do is with property management companies, and so there's nothing in there.
Oh, okay.
So
that makes it easier.
I'm not breaking anything.
Right.
I can just go in and do what I need to do. When people call me with their homes, residential. They'll ask me that question. That's a great question. And I'll tell them I don't move entertainment centers. I'm through moving pianos. And, dressers or couches, chairs, I can move stuff like that. Okay. Usually under the bed's pretty clean, although my tool can get pretty far underneath there.
So I'm imagining you do this by yourself.
Yes.
So you are really a sole proprietor.
This is correct.
Wow.
It's all me.
All right. So what is it about that is attractive to you without having to go out and hire a bunch of maybe kids
That's
or whatever?
That's a great question. Yeah. I have found out recently, not recently, I'm ADD, ADHD, OCD. I've got all of those things. I've got the go juice going.
Okay.
So this is a great workout for me.
Okay. All right.
To do this, and I've been doing it for 27 years.
Wow.
But I still like doing it. And I like the fact that you go into a carpet or into a house where the carpet's dirty and you make it clean. And that's immediate gratification for me.
Sure.
So I like it.
So when I hate to ask this question, but are there some carpets that you get there and you look and you go, it doesn't matter how much I clean this, you need new carpet? I mean,
I've been amazed. I have been amazed. A lot of that depends on the type of carpet. If you've got an upgraded carpet, it can be pretty nasty and still come clean. And I'm even surprised at some of the rentals because typically you're not going to put your best carpet in rentals.
Right. And usually renters are pretty hard on stuff.
They can be in some areas. But the products that I use and the amount of effort that I use, I amaze myself, and that's why I take pictures. And if I'm charging a little bit more to a property management company, I take pictures. Here's the reason why it costs this.
Here's the before
Here's
and
the
after.
before and here's the after.
Right.
They don't have a problem with it.
So what in my house, because I live up in Upper Miller Creek, and there's usually a lot of sand on the roads and that sort of thing, and we have a split level house. So when you come in the back door, you can wipe your feet all you want, right? Yeah. But you are still going to end up getting stuff on the carpet, like that's the road sand and the dirt and the dust and the grit and all that. Yeah. And after a while, I guess you just kind of learn to live with it until you have somebody come to stay with you, or a special event coming up to your house, or a Christmas party or whatever, and your wife says, would you please call John and get the carpet clean? I mean, so how long should it be? You just mentioned about a year, but when you got a special event coming up, you got to get to it.
And I get a lot of calls like that too. Can you come over? And because of my scheduling, I'm always allowing space in between. I mean, property management companies, a lot of times, okay, it slipped through the cracks. Can you do it today because people are moving in tomorrow?
Wow.
But even for residential, I get phone calls like that too. We've got some guests coming in. Do you have some space? I do leave space for times like that.
So how long does it take? I mean,
to clean?
For an average house?
Maybe
living room, dining room, bedrooms, couple of bedrooms?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I just recently cleaned a 2,700 square foot house. Very minimal linoleum, and it took me 2 hours and 45 minutes, which is pretty quick. But because I've been doing it so long, I know what I'm doing and know how to move things around. When there's furniture, it does take a little bit longer because I've got to move the furniture, clean behind it, move the furniture back. If I'm in a house for 3 hours, that's a big job.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So usually for apartments, things like that, about an hour. For a house with furniture, 2 hours.
So are you finding that does it disappoint you at all that people are going with more wood and laminate finishes, and it makes it kind of tough on a carpet cleaner?
You know, it really does, and I'm starting to see that with more and more new construction here in town. The carpets going into the bedrooms and the living room, dining room, typically are a high-grade linoleum. So that is happening.
Do you clean those?
I don't.
You don't? Okay.
Yeah, I stay away from that.
So you're just sticking with the carpets.
Yes.
You're going with what you know.
Well,
right?
carpet and upholstery. I also do upholstery and different types of rugs.
Okay.
Orientals, Asians, wools, things like that.
I want to jump in because we have a half an hour. So I want to jump into all the things that you do. I didn't realize that you also do upholstery. What about draperies and things like that?
I don't do draperies.
Okay. Well, yeah, anyway.
Looked at it one time. Someone asked me about it. I thought I'd give it a try and realized right then and there, no.
This is not my bailiwick.
Not me.
All right. So let's talk about upholstery. Is it difficult? Do you use the same sort of steam cleaning, or is it a different kind of method?
Yes, that's a good question, too. It is steam cleaning. There's a different product for that. I use a pre-upholstery cleaner. I do a kind of a hand job. I don't use a tool to go over that once. Typically, I'll spray it down with an emulsifier. Then I'll take a bucket and a horsehair brush with the pre-upholstery cleaner, spray that all over it, scrub it, and then hand extract it. And so I can get a couch to dry within a couple of hours. So it's a really great method of cleaning. I like it when people say, well, I see a difference. A lot of times I don't. Well, it doesn't mean it didn't happen, but
and there's probably a reason why a lot of people throw a blanket over their couch because
sure
it's dirty and it doesn't smell good, right?
Yeah. And again, upholstery is just like the carpet. It's a sponge. It pulls in lots of odors. If you've got pets, you've got that on your couch and chairs.
Yeah, especially you can't keep the dog or the cat off the couch, obviously,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to pets and carpets, obviously, when you get a new puppy or whatever, let's put it this way: that carpet puts up with a lot.
It really does.
Now, is there are there stains you can't get out? I mean,
yeah, there is. Red Kool-Aid is a keeper.
Really? Is it really? Oh,
yeah,
boy.
For the most part. I mean, they've got products where it's a heat transfer method. Use an iron, a wet towel. But that takes a lot of time to do, and to charge for that, gosh, it's just not worthwhile in most cases. And sometimes you can actually pull the color if you spend too much time on it.
Really?
So in rentals, that is a keeper. In someone's house, I try to do the best I can to get that out. But I let them know what the odds are of getting that out. Mustard, usually that's a keeper as well. I don't know what's in that stuff.
It's a lot of vinegar for one thing.
It sticks.
Yeah.
But most stains can come out. And again, getting into residential, a lot of people, they go with an upgraded carpet, Stain Masters, Kerastans, things like that, Smart Strand, where a lot of stuff can come up pretty easily, whereas, 20, 30 years ago, not so much.
So basically, the quality of the carpet makes it a whole lot easier to clean.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
So are there some carpets that you really like to clean? I mean, are the ones that I worked with those before. Let's jump on it.
Yeah, and in residential, I like to ask them, "What am I looking at?"
Right.
Just so I know. And if it's a Smart Strand, gosh, what a treat for me. Because I know.
Okay, what is Smart Strand?
Smart Strand is made by Kerastans, and it almost has its own category of carpet. It's a combination of chemicals. It just releases dirt. I've had it explained to me that you could even take bleach and pour it on there, and it won't pull the color.
Wow.
Which is pretty amazing. No, I've not tried it in my house and probably won't. But
no thanks.
Yeah, I'm not going there.
Let somebody else try that.
Yeah, I'll just take their word for it. But those are fun to work with. But again, in most property management places, you're not getting into high-grade carpets like that.
Yeah. And so what do you normally find in a rental?
Polyesters, nylons, things like that, which calls for a little bit of scrubbing. Some places put in some really, really cheap carpet, and that's just going to shoot themselves in the foot later on. It mats quicker, it frays out quicker, the stains are hard to get up, and you just built a brand new complex and you're replacing the carpet within a couple of years.
Yeah.
So it really does pay to spend a little extra money to get something a little nicer.
So have you made friends with folks at the carpet stores and said, hey, by the way, you sell the best carpet, you may as well have the best carpet cleaner on, with a business card there.
Yeah, that does happen. I'm part of a couple of networking groups here in town, and they like the work that I do, and they have sent me out on places, and they got great feedback saying, oh yeah, the guy you sent out took care of it. And so that's a great referral right there.
That's one of the things that Diane does. She has a referral network through her real estate company, and recommends folks like you. And so when people call, say, "Hey, Diane," especially people who just moved to town,
yes,
and they call their realtor, Diane or Becky or the folks at Windermere, and say, "Hey, I need somebody to clean my carpets," and they'll say, "Well," she'll say, "John's Carpet Care," obviously, right?
Yeah. So obviously,
let's hope so.
And much appreciated.
Sure. Now, you also mentioned that you clean area rugs and various exotic carpets as well. Well,
yes. And anytime somebody says they have an area rug, I'll always ask them what's it made out of, and if they say wool, I'll even ask more questions. How long have you had it? Where did it come from?
Why do you ask those questions?
Well, that's a great question because older rugs, Persians, Chinese, the dyes are vegetable dyes, and those can run.
Really?
So you pour water on it or you try to clean it,
wow,
and you just wasted your carpet.
So basically, if you have something that's been handed down from generation to generation, your carpet cleaner needs to know that.
Yes, I need to know that.
Yes.
And usually I won't touch it.
Yeah, okay. and so what do you recommend to folks who have a dirty older carpet? I mean, just to vacuum it and hope for the best?
That's it. You can take it to places that do things like that. They submerge it in a tub and they've got blockers on it. I don't do things like that. And that's probably the best thing for them to do. I think it's really good that they know what they have. So they put it in an area that's not going to get, a lot of hammering.
A lot of traffic.
Exactly. Vacuuming, boy, that's a must. It really is. Because, again, the fine sand over a long period of time is going to grind that thing down.
Now, I wanted to ask you about that because living where we live, especially in the winters, where there's sand and of course, I call it the little truck that pees on the road. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. the de-icer solution.
Oh, yeah.
And you get all that stuff on your feet, and then you come in the house, and it transfers to the carpet. So when it comes to road sand and de-icer, are those things that you're seeing now?
Yes, and those things are terrible. They really are. In our house, we once lived in Hawaii, and so we got into the habit of taking... Oh, yeah, great place.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we learned a lot while we were there.
Sure.
And you don't walk into somebody's house with your shoes on.
Okay. No, why is that?
It's just their culture.
Right.
They have that volcanic ash, the dirt. It's kind of a reddish, goldish color.
Right.
And that stains. And so we were able to, fortunately, pick that up within the first week of living there.
Yeah, right.
And so everybody takes their shoes off. And so we've gotten into the habit of doing that. And I will tell people that. I said, if you want your carpets to last a lot longer, in between cleanings, and typically to last longer, do the no shoe thing. It's not that hard to do.
Well, that's one of the reasons why they do that at the Parade of Homes, right?
Yes.
And they have that big box of little funny looking
the little
booties,
booty things.
right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But the stuff that they spray on the asphalt to keep the snow and ice away, boy, that's just really hard.
That's corrosive.
Yeah, you do get it on your shoes. You do bring it in your house, and unless you're down there with a baby wipe right away, gosh, you're in for a lot of work.
Now, for instance, in my house, our basement has it's a cement floor and it's got the carpet right on top of it. And admittedly, we put it in a long time ago, and it's not the greatest carpet in the world.
Sure.
And you can tell immediately how to get to the couch, because there's a path with what used to be bright blue carpet, and now it's mostly brown, and and so it doesn't matter how many times we vacuum and clean it, it's just kind of getting worn out.
Yeah, and that can happen too, and that's why I tell people 18 months to a year to keep those traffic lanes from building, because they eventually will. Even on some great carpet, you can begin to see some things. You can see where people have walked. So to keep up on that, and even though you vacuum, which is great, typically on vacuuming, I recommend however many people in the house, that's how many times a week you should vacuum.
Oh, okay. Now, since we're dealing with carpet, are there any particular vacuum cleaners that do a better job than others?
Well, I'll tell you what, my dad owned a compact compact vacuum cleaner, which is one of the top vacuum cleaners, very expensive at the time.
I had never heard that brand before.
Yeah, it's like with Kirby, Rexair, Rainbow, things like that. Okay. You're spending some money.
Right.
Anything under $1,000, what I have found is something sold at Walmart. It's a Bissell, bagless, $42, $49. Great suction power, last a long time, save your money. Unless you're going to spend over $1,000 to get those other type,
right?
As far as I'm concerned, that's one of the best on the market.
So you've got the Shark versus the other ones that
Dyson.
Dyson. Yeah. So are any of those? Is that legit, or is it just marketing?
Now you're opening up the lawsuits.
No. It's just
my opinion. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah.
Those things are great. They do work, but they're fairly expensive.
Yeah.
And if you can spend $42, $49 as opposed to $500, wow, let's go with the $49. And since the year 2000, I've gone through 3 of them.
Wow.
Yeah, so they do last a long time.
Wow, that's great.
And they do a great job.
So it's nice to know that. So now, do you carry one of those around with you when you service people's homes, or?
I don't. And a lot of people will ask me beforehand, what do we need to do before you come over? And I'll tell them, if you can pick up the small stuff, that's great. They'll ask you, do we need to vacuum?
Get the brother-in-law off the couch?
Yes. You laugh, but that can be true.
Yeah.
And they'll ask me, do we need to vacuum? And I'll say, typically, you don't. If I can see the carpet, I'm in great shape. But I'll also ask, dog hair, cat hair, water and dog hair and cat hair don't mix. So they do need to vacuum that up.
Okay. So before you come, if you have pets, it's helpful.
Yes.
Because let's say when you get there and you look and you see, oh my gosh, these folks have 4 dogs, and they haven't had a chance to clean up before you get there. Do you say, hey, I can't do a good job for you until this is done, or what?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And usually we have that conversation beforehand when they call me up. I try to ask as many questions as I can to make it easy for them, and also for me too. I like to know what I'm walking into.
Sure. So let's say I just called you up, and we've never met before. And so I heard about you on the radio on the Diane Beck show.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, there you go.
It works.
Yeah. So what kind of how would that conversation go?
Well, first of all, I'd ask them, how many rooms am I looking at cleaning? Because a lot of times they'll ask me, can you give me a price?
Right.
And that's the first thing I ask. How many rooms are carpeted?
Yeah, because there are companies that say 3 rooms for $29.90, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't play those.
Okay, all right.
So they'll tell me how many rooms I'm looking at, and then I'll ask them how many floors. Is there a staircase? Typically there's 12 stairs in between floors, so I know what I'm looking at there.
Right.
And then they'll tell me, we've got a lot of stuff in the living room, and I'll ask what. And again, I'll tell them, I don't move entertainment centers or pianos or things like that. And so I'm getting a pretty good idea of what's in there. And then I'll ask, are there any dog or cat urine areas? I'm specific about urine.
Sure.
I don't care about the other because that can clean up.
Right.
But when you start getting into urine, that's kind of a whole different cleaning process.
That's acid, right?
Well, it is. It's urine. If it's a cat, which is bad, typically they go in the same spot all the time. So after a long period of time, that's not only in the carpet, it's now in the pad.
Right.
Once it's in the pad, you're done. You're through.
Yeah.
That probably most likely needs to be replaced. And if it's been even longer, the subflooring, you may have to have that treated.
Wow.
So I ask a lot of questions.
Sure.
And if there's a cat or a dog urine area, I'll tell them, yeah, thanks for telling me that. I'll come out with a black light, locate the spots, and we'll see what we're looking at.
No, why a black light?
Well, that does show the salt that's in the urine, and that'll show me all the spots. Rather than having my nose down there looking for it, yeah, I can locate this thing a lot quicker with a black light.
Let's use technology rather than,
And I'll pull them over, too, and they're amazed. It's like, oh, my gosh, I had no idea there were that many spots. Dogs typically go all over the place, which you might think is bad, but because they go all over the place, it typically stays on top, which is cleanable, as opposed to cats that go in the same spot, which is a lot more difficult.
Yeah, so cat lovers, they need to be a little bit more careful, right?
That's right.
Now, I had a cat when I was a kid, and so we had the cat box, and sometimes my brother and I, who were tasked with cleaning the cat box, weren't quite as on top of things as we should have been.
Yeah.
And so the cat probably decided, well, this is full. I think I'll find somewhere else. So that
exactly
happens
right.
a lot, right?
That's exactly right. I see that so many times. Yeah. And even if you do keep your cat box cleaned out, a cat's a cat. It's going to do what it wants to do.
Yes, they're pretty independent.
Yes.
All right.
Good word.
Okay, so we have, believe it or not, we've been talking for 26 minutes.
Wow.
And so I want to get some particulars. By the way, we're talking with John Contos of John's Carpet Care. So we need to get some information about folks who are saying, this guy has sold me, I want him. So how do we get in touch with you? And how long does it take to make an appointment and that sort of thing?
You know, those are both really good questions. The best way to get a hold of me is my phone number. I do have an email address,
okay.
But my wife doesn't always like answering my email. And,
all right.
And I don't mess with the email at all. It's all hers.
Do you have a website?
I think I do.
Okay. Well, what's your phone number anyway?
Yeah, let's just go with the phone. It's
right.
Area code 406-370-4869.
So now that's obviously sounds like a textable number too, right?
It is.
Okay.
It is. And I do answer my phone. If I can hear it, and I've got it on the vibrate, I've got it on loud, so when I'm cleaning carpets and I hear that, I do answer it, if I hear it.
Okay.
And usually I do.
All right. And so let's say I call you today. How soon could I reasonably expect you to be able to come to the house?
You know, reasonably within 48 hours.
Really?
A lot of times.
Wow.
Sometimes I can do it that day. Again, because I leave space for the property management companies. So I can fit things in that day. But usually the next day. Summer times get a little bit more hectic because you've got a lot more activity.
Right.
You've got students moving in and out, people moving around, buying houses. But still, I would say within 48 hours I can do something.
I always like to ask our guests, what is it that when you get out of bed and your feet hit the floor in the morning, what is it that just fires you up and gets you excited about what you do?
What gets me excited about what I do?
Yeah.
You know, I got to be real honest. It's people. I totally love my job. I meet so many different people, and they're all different. And I don't just blow in and blow out. I spend some time talking to them. And some of the things I hear are very sad, and some of the things I hear are very good. And especially information that helps me to raise a 17-year-old daughter, my ears are wide open. I get a lot of great advice. And so it's just fun talking to people. It's almost like a Christmas package. You open it up. You don't know what you're really going to get,
right.
But it's a great surprise.
All right,
that's the biggest one.
Talking with John Contos from John's Carpet Care, and telephone number one more time.
370-4869.
Which, by the way, is textable, so you can take
Yes.
a text or take a phone call or whatever. Hey, it's been a delight getting to know you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
We
Appreciate
really
it.
appreciate you having you on this morning. And again, thanks to Diane Beck and Becky and all the gang there at Windermere Real Estate for making this terrific. And we want to thank you for being a part of our show. And we hope to see you again next time for Missoula Real Estate Today here on KGVO. Thanks for tuning into Missoula Real Estate Today. We hope you found the information over the last 30 minutes to be helpful. If you have any suggested topics for future Missoula Real Estate Today programs, or any questions about buying or selling real estate, please email Diane. Here's the address. It's Diane Beck at Realtor.com. That's Diane Beck at Realtor.com. We'll see you next week on News Talk KGBO.com, 98.3 FM and 1290 AM.